Yo, what's up guys? Jay Daniel here. This is Remote Closer Millionaire episode 52. And today it's going to be a little different. I just want to talk about getting out of your hometown and how that's been really impactful for me, and how Remote Paradise is going to basically make that not the norm, but it's going to make it a vehicle where that's easy to do and you're not just going to a dorm. So I've had a lot of friends, a lot of people that I've known over the years, and I won't name them, but like for obvious reasons, but they went to college and they were doing pretty good, right? Like they were doing okay, like they were productive, they were in amazing shape, people looked up to them, blah, 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 right? They had their whole future going for them. They came out of college and they were an alcoholic. They had a bunch of toxic like relationships. They basically just completely destroyed themselves. And I think that vehicle had a big part to play in it. I think college, the university system as a whole, I think it's, and obviously I haven't been around for 200 years, so I can't speak to how it was 60 years ago, but I think it's lost a lot of its value. And also, I haven't been to college, so maybe I'm completely off, right? You let me know. But I think it's lost a lot of its value. I think there's been a lot of lobbying. There's been a lot of like legislation where anybody can get a loan, right? Like a crazy 10-20% interest loan that you can't declare bankruptcy on for like, for stuff you don't need. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, if I'm learning business, right, the most effective way to learn is to learn what's going to solve my immediate problems. If I pay a business coach 10 grand to help me structure a community or to help me set up my marketing, and he wants to tell me about fucking biology, I will do everything in my power to get a chargeback. I would be outraged. What are you doing? Dude, this is garbage. How dare you charge me $10,000 and try to tell me things I don't need, try to tell me about biology. I think more people need to do that with school. They need to question where their money's going. So, like, even leaving your hometown. So, and this is a slight tangent, but even leaving your hometown, like, a lot of people, like, dude, if you leave your hometown and you have a path that's like in alignment with where you're going and what you're doing, like, you're gonna be much better off than just going to school because you're trying to figure out what you want to do. You don't have to put yourself in $100,000 in debt, surrounded by a bunch of bad influences. Do you realize that you can literally get with like 4 or 5 of your buddies and live anywhere, literally almost anywhere in the world, a lot cheaper than you can live for in the US? Do you realize you can do that for a fraction of the cost of what you're paying to like have a little dorm, or literally like less than $1,000 a month? You can live in amazing places all over the world. I was in a penthouse for the last 3 months in freaking Colombia. Like, and you level up so much, especially if everybody sits down, goes over their goals, holds each other accountable. I don't think this is talked about enough. That this is why, like, with Remote Paradise, like, I'm literally, my business partner, Josh Pineda, he is literally a college professor who just happens to be, right, like a nomad, right, like semi-global citizen, like owns multiple businesses, like, and so what we're doing, we're coming together to basically, yes, we're building a university, right, and so he's helping a lot with structuring taking the best parts of university and putting it into a curriculum that's literally like $300 a semester, which is crazy. But even, we're recruiting like a bunch of millionaires and top talent and top of the field experts, right, for all the different categories you can actually learn and actually use, and actually just learn one thing at a time that you need. But we're, so the first, I'll give you guys the master plan. So basically the first thing we're going to do is build Remote Paradise University, get all the infrastructure at the level we want it to be at. We have 200 students right now, right? 100 more members and kind of the members club. But ultimately we want to get 100 students to, this is so cool. Freaking snow here in Canada. It's crazy. As a Floridian, I find this fascinating. But basically what we're looking to do, it's life is a video game. Like, I'm literally talking to a magic box. You know, like, it's, if you really think about it, like, we can broadcast our message to the whole world on like a little phone, you know. Anyway, so the way we're building it up is we're going to get 100 people to 100 grand a year as digital nomads, and basically we're going to have them help us get 1 million, and that's the mission for 2025, right? 100 people to, by the way, super achievable. We're already making a lot of strides towards that, but we're going to get 100 people to 100K through the curriculum, through the university. Once that's done, we are going to literally, we had a great meeting, great meeting yesterday with a potential investor, another potential partner, but who's going to be funding the real estate side of it. But we're going to acquire land, and we're going to create villages, and you know, the nomadic like kind of hot spots, right? Like I'm leaning on like Colombia, Medellin, right? We'll see Buenos Aires. We're going to be going there sometime this year. Maybe that'll be Q2. We'll see. But basically, we're going to take some of these like travel, digital nomad hotspots, all the amazing places of the world, and also in the US, right? Like, especially like the US hubs for like, right? For growth, and even some remote places. But we're going to be building out little villages, little digital nomad, digital global citizen villages. And the reason why that's important is because this is the direction that things are headed. Countries all over the world are becoming less nationalistic, and it's becoming more so like influencer centric, right? Like, you're getting more and more extremes on both sides of the equation. And I won't even go into like the politics of it all, but there needs to be more unity. So we're gonna get 1 million people to $1 million under the Remote Paradise banner, and we're gonna come together on investments. We're gonna host the villages. Part of the villages, and the reason why it's gonna be like really big, is that we're gonna be able to host people for like $400 a month, $500 a month, literally. What we're doing is we're gonna room people based on personality and vision, right? So everybody's gonna have kind of an initial session with a counselor where they take, you know, they do a personality test, right? Take into account like what their current skills are, what their aspirations are. And from there, what's gonna happen is once we have like the personality, once we have like the aspirations, we're gonna start to room everybody. So we're starting with just high ticket sales, kind of like how Amazon started with just books. And then we're gonna scale to like essentially all remote jobs. That's really the goal. I want it to be like every possible remote job. I want us to keep innovating and keeping up with changes in the market. But we're gonna help people learn, like, okay, so you're gonna have one person. Right now, the personal brand is everything. Content is everything. But putting yourself out there is everything. But to really stand out, you need to have professional level, studio level quality. Basically, it needs to be somebody's full-time job to do content, right? Like we just brought on somebody for content, so you're going to notice like some changes in the quality of our content, right? But you need somebody who's dedicated to the content full time, and you can make a full-time income. You can make a 6-figure income just doing content. So you're going to have every individual house, right? Like 3 to 5 people rooming together, again, based on personality and all this stuff. And in that house, you're going to have somebody who specializes in content. You're going to have, and then the other ones, we can kind of pair them, right? And we can also choose who has somebody who's like learning the content, if they're going to have a photographer with them, right? So the whole concept of the villages, it's going to be a global network. So a digital nomad, in my opinion, is somebody who you can make less than 6 figures, but let's say like 100K a year, and you can do that from anywhere in the world. You don't really own anything. You don't really own anything, but you don't really own anything, but you're able to travel, you're able to move around, right? Maybe you have like a second bank, whatever, right? Like, that's kind of a digital nomad. A global citizen is, in my opinion, and again, it can be less, it can be more, but in my opinion, a global citizen is somebody who makes $1 million a year, right? Somebody who has the power to invest into companies, into infrastructure, somebody with a solidified network, somebody who has passports and visas and residence just all over the world, right? They're ultimately connected. They can go to a different country and they already have like authority, status, power, like things to do, right? So Remote Paradise is going to make 1 million global citizens, and the power behind that is now we're going to have trillions of dollars to be able to invest into the projects we like, stuff that we care about, with the first one being having a legitimate university with an in-person experience in different climates. Students are going to be able to choose if they want to be in a cold climate, a warm climate, something tropical. They're going to be able to choose what country they're in. Eventually, having an airline is kind of the goal, because we can have our own independent airline. Kind of like, I don't know, Richard Branson wrote a really good autobiography talking about his life story and how he built Virgin. So very similar in that, in terms of that structure, right? It's franchises of businesses just based on what really matters, you know? Just based on what's fun, honestly. Just based on what I think is going to have a big impact. So stay tuned. Remote Paradise is going to the moon. Tell you what, I'll keep talking. One thing too. So I've been documenting my own kind of personal journey as well, right? Towards becoming like a millionaire. So a couple of updates there. I have been studying Chase Hughes, studying psychology, learning everything I can about like the human mind. And I've never learned so much. Like I remember when I was at like Sales Sniper and right, like I was learning a lot, but like it's never been something I've been so passionate with and so like tied into. So I'm gonna be documenting even just like some of the sales stuff I learned, some of the knowledge I'm garnering. It's crazy. It's crazy how fun development gets when you really lock in. So I think you guys will enjoy it. Stay tuned for the series. Hope you have a beautiful day. God bless.